Welcome to the Melissa Banks Show. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. I'm so excited to have you here. This show is all about celebrating the journeys of authors, entrepreneurs, people who are boldly chasing their dreams, creating meaningful products and services, and inspiring others to do the same. Each episode will uncover the stories behind the successes, the lessons learned from challenges, and the advice that can spark action in your own life. My goal is simple. It's to remind you that your dreams are possible and to leave you feeling inspired and empowered. So let's get started with today's guest, Laura Browne. Laura is a trainer, she's a coach, she's an author and speaker at Career Coffee Break, who has an incredible story to share. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm super excited to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. And I just want to start with congratulating you on your newest book, Interview Speak, What Your Interviewer Really Wants to Know. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you for that. But
Thank you.
That's a great place to start, your journey as an author. So did you always want to be an author, or what sparked that journey for you, and how did you turn that into your reality?
Okay, honest to goodness, I have wanted to be an author for as long as I remember. As a little kid, I loved books. And then, again, when I was small, I just thought, well, I'm going to be an author. And I do remember, this is going to sound terrible. I do remember if I wasn't going to be an author, I was going to be a librarian. And I remember telling that to my dad one time, and he said, absolutely not. Because my dad was more of a financial person. And he's like, yeah, librarians don't make any money. I was like, oh. Anyway, I did not pursue that area, but I always wanted to be a writer, but I was too scared to write because I thought if I write and I fail, then my dream will go away. So it was really hard for me to start writing.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I love that. I love your dad's response as well. So share with us, Laura, in my journey, there have been different points in my journey. Some have been triumphs that I learned a lot that shaped who I am. Some has also been some struggles, some challenges, but I consider them turning points for me because they impacted me some kind of way. Do you have something that you can share with us that was that turning point for you on your journey?
Oh, well, there are plenty of them, but the one that comes to mind is the first time I was laid off from work. And I had no idea. I thought everything was fine. And I'm not going to mention what company this was, but I was homesick one day, and my boss called me up and said, today is your last day. We're having some layoffs. It turns out there were only a couple of us that were laid off, but I was floored. Absolutely like smacked in the face. And I needed to make money. I immediately tried to find a job, couldn't right away. So I got a contract job. And anyway, that contract job, I was able to do that for a little while. And during that time, I then started looking for what I really wanted to do. I found a job at a company called Women Unlimited through networking. And that started me on my journey today, which is really doing training and helping other people to be more successful at their jobs. And so as I look back, I think, man, if I had not been laid off and been through this pain and gone through all of these things, then I wouldn't have wanted to start helping other people. So yeah, when I look back on it, the pain was worth it.
You know what? Your story and my story is so similar. It is amazing. When you were talking, I was like, oh my God, is she telling my story? I was laid off. It was a major layoff, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And that was what started my whole entire entrepreneur journey, that layoff, which probably would have never happened because I would have been settled in. It was a great job, a great future, I thought. But that is exactly what happened. And I received my layoff through a phone call as well.
You did too? And because I've told people that story, they're like, no, they didn't just call you. And I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, actually, wait, I told it wrong. She left me a voicemail message. So yeah, so that was even worse. But yeah, that's so you got a phone call too. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So let's talk about your journey, Laura. I talked about triumphs. I talked about struggles, something that you overcome during your author journey and your entrepreneur journey, that you had to face it, you had to overcome it. Share with us that.
Well, and so let me tell you again, as an author, writing books is hard. And so let me tell you about my first big triumph. And so for years, I really wanted to write this book. I wanted to be the next J.K. Rowling. And so I wrote a book called Annie Clark and the Pearls of Wisdom. And it's a middle grade fantasy, and it's based on the main character's a little red-haired girl, and I have a little red-headed girl. Anyway, so I actually finished writing the book, and I published it myself. And the first of all, just publishing it myself and finishing it was a huge win for me because I was so nervous. Nobody will like it. People will hate it. It'll be awful. And what I got was an Amazon Breakthrough Novel Award competition. I put my new novel in, and I was a semifinalist in it. People really, really loved it. And so that was confirmation for me that I could write. And since then, I've written a couple of fiction books as well as nonfiction books. I mean, this is my newest nonfiction book. But so I like to connect with people with stories as well as help them with business books.
Oh, wow. That's absolutely amazing. Talk about a challenge, though, Laura, something that you had to face on your journey that wasn't great, but you faced it. Share with us something about that and how you were able to face challenges and keep going.
Oh, well, okay. So my most recent layoff. So I was laid off about 5 years ago. And that really, really hurt because it was my favorite job. And again, I was surprised. It was a major layoff from the company, but I thought, you know what? I have done this before. Okay. And so having gone through a layoff before, I thought, you know what? I can do this before. I mean, I can do this because I did it before. What was interesting was a friend of mine and I then wrote a book called Help, My Company Swiped Left. And it's all about, so what happens, you know, what are the feelings you go through? And one of the chapters is something like, don't hide. Don't be like a turtle in your shell. And so, don't be an armadillo. And so the point is that I went through all of this pain again, and so did my friend. And so we were able to write a book about it and really help other people because since you've been through it, it's not just about looking for the next job. You need to do that. But you have to, I mean, I was shamed. I felt horrible. I questioned myself. I had to, tell my family and friends I lost my job, and then sort of picking yourself up after that and going through all the stages of grief. What if I had done this? Can I call them back? Maybe I can be a contractor. So going through that again really helped me again to realize what's going on in the job market and write another book.
Wow. See, that's it. What I got from that is that you faced it, you've done it before, and if you think about it, a lot of the challenges we go through have happened before that God has brought you through. You went through it before, and you know what? You're right. And I never thought about it until you were talking about it. You're embarrassed in some ways to let people know that this has happened to you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so it's funny because at that layoff, it was a huge layoff. The company changed its name right afterwards. So I could keep saying that because it's not me. It's not me. Look, it was all those other people. But the other layoff I was in, not so much. I think there were two of us that were laid off. And actually, this guy I was talking to at one point, he was trying to be nice. He wasn't. He said, well, really, they only lay people off that they really don't need. You probably weren't valuable. And I was like, man, like this is my friend's husband. And he smacked me in the face. But then I realized, you know what? I have to look at it. And then I questioned and I realized some of the things I did were not valuable enough. The company was losing money. But the point is, we need to not shy away from this. We need to look at it and we need to recognize our feelings. And again, my feelings of shame, my feelings of embarrassment. I didn't want to tell anybody the first time I was laid off. And if I had, I probably would have made some more connections faster. But I'm like, I can't even tell anybody. This is so horrible. And then I had to, and I got a job. But if we don't look at it and if we don't face it and we don't sort of take it apart and recognize what are the things that are holding us back, we won't move forward.
Oh, absolutely. And I definitely consider that as horrible as it felt that day was my push into something much greater. So I definitely agree with you there. Let me reset here and remind everybody, this is the Melissa Banks Show. If you're just joining us, we're excited today to have Laura Browne with us. Laura is a trainer, coach, author, and speaker at Career Coffee Break. So Laura, your work, your books, it's just so amazing. Your energy, you're absolutely amazing. What is it that you hope that people will walk away from when they pick up one of your books and read them? What's the impact you hope on their lives?
Oh, thank you for asking. Well, really, now with this book, I want them to get jobs. I mean, I can't, I'm sure you know, I mean, the job market is terrible right now. It is really, really hard. Even when you get a tentative offer, or when you get a tentative comment and you go for the first interview, the process is long. I just talked to a friend of mine. She just got turned down again. So it's a hard job market. And so with this new book, I really want to help people to recognize when you get that interview, there are some things you can do to do better at it. And by the way, I always suggest prepare in advance. So read my book early before you find out I have a job offer, I have an interview tomorrow. So really, it's all about prepare. Because if you're really nervous on the interview, it's going to show through. But even more than that, if you prepare, then you've got great examples. Then you're ready for common questions. We have a whole chapter just on here are common questions that chances are the interviewer will ask. Be prepared for these. Don't be surprised when you get asked them. So the more you can prepare, the more you can show up as your authentic self because you're not nervous. You can really be you. I mean, if you think about it, if you're nervous, you're going to, be sweating a little bit and sort of stumble over things. And afterwards, you're going to hit yourself on the head. I should have said this. But if you're like talking to a friend, then you're just going to tell stories. And so I think that's really important. The other thing I want to mention, we mentioned it in the book. I also mentioned it in my other book. Something I'm passionate about is people need to make more money. And so one of my books is Increase Your Income, 7 Rules for Women Who Want to Make More Money at Work. It's for men too. But basically I talk about, and in my classes, I have online classes, how do you ask for a raise? Especially if you don't want to leave your job now because of the job market. How do you ask for and get a raise? Or if you are getting a new job, how do you negotiate a higher salary when they give you that offer? There are some things you can do to make sure that you get the most money possible. And so I'm passionate about people getting jobs, making money, and being successful.
Oh, that is amazing. And everything you said, I was going to ask the question had you not said it. I was waiting on, well, how do you ask for that raise, or how do you negotiate when that offer comes and it's lower than you want, but you really want this job? So, and I just had a conversation recently with someone, and it was like, well, Melissa, what do you say? You just take what they offer you because you want this job?
No,
and I was
no.
like,
Yeah. Well, and so a couple of tips. So if you want to get a raise, first of all, don't just go in and ask for a raise. And I actually have 7 rules. And basically one of the rules is work with your manager. Chances are your manager is not stopping you from getting a raise. It's probably their boss. And so how do you work together in a problem-solving way and give your boss the information they need to convince human resources or their boss or a compensation committee? And it also means starting early. So if raise time, let's say, is January, you need to start talking to your boss in October or November and saying, what do I need to do to get the best raise possible? And you need to start giving what I call updates. So every week or every 2 weeks, an update that shows your results, not just did this, and it saved money for the company. So give them all the information they need so it's easy for them to say yes. So that's what I suggest for raises.
Oh, I love this. And I know that everyone who's listening to that will want to run out first of all and get this book so that they can have some help, because it's going to help us all. So thank you for that. So let me talk about the journey, and not just your journey, but anyone who has that desire, that gut feeling, I really want to write a book, say, or I really want to start this business, but it's just kind of stayed right here. And we often say to people, just start, just do it. We say that all the time, right? But starting can be the hardest part. So what advice would you have someone that's listening that wants to start this journey, wants to be an author, they haven't been able to press start, they've been hesitant? What advice would you give to them?
Thank you for asking. So let me talk about being an author because I wish somebody had given me this advice. So I agree, just start and keep going. So specifically, with authors, first of all, I talk to them about, and I think lots of people have books in them. And when somebody says they want to write a book, I'm all excited for them. First of all, we talk about fears. So, and again, my fear was if I write a book and it stinks, I will have lost my dream. I mean, it will be, what will I do then? Because I've lost my dream. But if I don't write it, then I can always dream about being a successful author. So I was in a class one time, and I was helping the other person. We were training together. And one of the things she was teaching was, what would you do? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And so my first thought was I would write a book. And then after like 4 times, I kept saying I would write a book. So I thought, okay, I need to get started. My advice to authors is start and don't stop. And what I mean by that is a lot of authors that I talk to, would-be authors, they start writing chapter 1. And then they rewrite chapter 1. And then they rewrite chapter 1 again. And they keep rewriting it. No, I don't care if chapter 1 is garbage. Go on to chapter 2. Go on to chapter 3. And the reason I say that is actually in my middle grade fantasy, I realized I had to actually drop chapter 1, even though I liked it very much. But good thing I went on to chapter 2 and chapter 3 because it was the writing process that helped me to get to the end. So just keep going. The other thing is maybe your first book will not be the best, but it's the writing process. It helps you get the story out, and maybe then it's book number 2. Also, I'm still in a writing group, and we meet every 2 weeks, and we learn new things and we share. So I have a community that helps me. And so if you can get a community of other would-be writers or even just people that love books, that can help you too.
Oh, wow. All of that was so amazing and so helpful to everybody, not just writers, though, because if you have that dream and you take that first step that we tell you to just start and keep going, and that's what makes it happen. So thank you for that. That was absolutely amazing. So my next question is about you, and it's a little personal because I know that the author entrepreneur journey is not always easy. There's so much we want to do. We have these long lists and we're trying to work through them. And sometimes it's just a lot. So how do you stay motivated and focused on your dreams?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's interesting. Let me go back to the question you just asked, because it was about, again, being an author. And the one thing I forgot to say is schedule time for it. Now, you don't have to schedule an hour every morning. I have friends that do that. They schedule an hour to write every morning. That hasn't worked for me. But sometimes what I do is I'll schedule 4 hours and I will all afternoon, I will write. Because you can't wait until the muse hits you to write. You just because there are days that, that I don't really have an idea, but I start and I schedule myself for an hour. And by the end of the hour, I've written something. So, but wait, I'm sorry. What was the question again? Oh, it was about how to stay motivated.
Yeah.
So the point is that I schedule time, but I also keep a picture. So like a picture of what I want, and it might be a picture of an award, or it might be a picture of a cover of a book. And, and it's easy now. You can just, print them out or you can draw it or whatever. So it's almost like a vision board. So I keep like the picture of what I want up there. And I keep reminding myself, that's where I want to go. And I can adjust it. But to me, it's all about reminding myself of what's the end? What's the result? What do I really want to get out of it? What do I want my friends and my family to share with me? And one of the things I do is I write myself a letter. So imagine at the end of next year, what would be my end of the year letter? This year I was able to do this, this, and this. And so I sort of project what I would like to have happen at the end of next year. And that helps me to keep moving forward.
Oh, I love that. I don't want you all to miss that. One of the things that jumped out at me is she keeps her vision in front of her. Where is it that I'm trying to go? Even though I feel tired, even though it's a lot happening, even though I'm busy, that's what I got. Keep where are you going in front of you so you can keep picturing it. The other thing I got is to schedule the time. That means intentional toward working toward that goal, and that keeps you on focus. Thank you so much, Laura. This was absolutely amazing. I'm super excited for all that you're doing. So some final words for our guests, and make sure you let them know how to stay connected with you and support all that you do.
Absolutely. So please connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Laura Browne, Browne, because I have to be different. Or you can go to Career Coffee Break or send me a message at Laura@Career Coffee Break. Let me know that you heard about me on Melissa's podcast, and I'm happy to connect with you. And if you want to get the book, Interview Speak, What Your Interviewer Really Wants to Know, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on Manning.com, who is my wonderful publisher, and they've given a special discount of 45% off if you use the code. So What's the code? Oh, the code is MBSLIMMER because my co-author's name is Limmer. So MBS Limmer, and you get 45% off. So I hope you will connect with me or take a look at the book.
Absolutely. And I'll make sure that we put that code with this video so that they can get it again. So thank you again for being here. Thank you to our audience for joining us for this episode of the Melissa Banks Show. I hope today's conversation with Laura Browne reminded you that your dreams are within reach, no matter where you're starting. So until next time, I'm your host, Melissa Banks. Your journey is unique. Your dreams are valid, and you have the power to design a life you love. So keep believing, keep growing, and keep shining.
Thank you.